Hey everybody, what's up? It's Tim Hart, branch manager of VanDyk Mortgage here in Fort Myers, Florida. Here today, bringing out the big guns for you people out there. Got our underwriting manager of VanDyk Mortgage, Lindsey Kuhnle, is with us today. Lindsey, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm just so proud of myself that I got your last name.
It's
Kuhnle?
funny because a lot of people still call me by my maiden name just because they don't want to tackle that new last name. And it's not really new. I've had it for almost 6 years. So,
Right, yeah. Well, we all know you as, I remember Lindsey Kern. That's where you started.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Cool. So you guys, Lindsay's with us today. She's our underwriting manager at VanDyk Mortgage. Does an amazing job. Our underwriting staff at VanDyk is unreal. So we appreciate everything she does and that they do. But today is going to be an informational day, Lindsay. We're going to get into an underwriter and what they do. My day-to-day life with buyers, with realtors, etc. Underwriters, and we're going to speak bluntly here, Lindsay. Okay. Some of them think of an underwriter as, if you're listening on the podcast, she covered her ears. Some of them look at an underwriter as like the boogeyman, like, ooh, the underwriter is going to say this, or the underwriter is going to say that, or why is the underwriter like this, And so I thought it'd be really cool to learn about what an underwriter does, and that also you are a human being, right, behind there
Yeah.
as well. So before we get into all that, let's learn about Lindsay. When did you start at VanDyk, and how did you give us your path of VanDyk from where you started to as an underwriter manager?
I started with VanDyk Mortgage in February of 2008. So this will be my 11th year here. I am homegrown, so I've never worked anywhere aside from VanDyk Mortgage. I love this company. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. When I first started, I started as the receptionist, answering phones, and knew within a short amount of time that maybe I had found a home in this industry. So I ended up moving into a compliance position, and then into a junior processing position. And I decided to step down to the branch level and not work for our corporate office for about a year and a half. And I actually went and processed so that I could learn that side of the business and what it was about. And when that was out in Nevada, I moved back to Michigan and went back to work for our underwriting department at the time as a junior underwriter. I was promoted into a senior underwriting position, and then through a team lead position, I was able to transition into our underwriting manager as of about a year ago.
Dang,
Actually,
man.
just a year.
That's that's fast, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
impressive. And the thing that a lot of people don't know in this business is how much underwriters have to know. It's unreal how many things are changing and what you guys are supposed to know. So kudos to you. That's freaking
Thank you.
awesome.
And it's not just, everybody thinks about the agencies, the FHA, the VA, the conventional, the VA. They don't think about all of the state bond programs on top of that, all of the specialty products within those agencies. It really is so much to know as an underwriter.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it. So congrats. That's why you're there. I'm here.
No way.
Yeah, right. All right. So let's get into it then. So let's teach some people about an underwriter in the position. So why don't you fill us in? What does an underwriter do?
All right. Well, we take your loans from the LOs, the agents, and we evaluate all of the risk threshold behind them. We do have automated services that run findings on all of our loans to kind of give us a basis, a catalyst of where to really start with those loans. And from there, we're looking at, the borrower's income, credit, assets, all of that to, really make sure that we are doing good quality loans. Somebody said once recently, and I love this, it stayed with me, is that we want to be the company and we want to be the people that do things for our borrowers and not to our borrowers. So, we're looking to set that borrower up for success. We want to be a part of their success story. Unfortunately, as an underwriter, we at times have to say no. but it's not something that we enjoy doing. You know, the basis of our job is protecting not just our company, but also those borrowers as well.
Whether they want that protection or not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, I got you there. And so explain to, the people out there so we submit the file over to you, meaning my branch, the processors, et cetera, submit the file over to underwriting, and then you guys will go through income, assets, just like you said, the credit report, and your job is to basically take that and match it up with the loan program guidelines that we're placing that loan in, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And a guideline is a guideline, and our automated findings are recommendations. So on top of those, we're really looking at the documentation that has also been provided to us to make sure that we're asking all of the right questions, that we're getting all of the right information. Where did that large deposit come from on the bank statement? I mean, our automated systems are fantastic. Our guidelines are fantastic, but we really are the eyes of being able to comb through that documentation hands-on and really verify and validate what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm just messing with you when I'm giving these reactions. It's just fun to toy with. Trust me, I really want to go a little more and really just mess with you some, but I'm not going to do it. Not with a captive audience like you.
I was going to say, as much as the underwriters are an easy target, so are you guys.
Yeah, well, you guys have to deal with crazy loan officers as well. So we all have the people we have to deal with there. So Lindsey, let's look at and say, okay, you don't do a good enough job, okay, on a file, or maybe you're human and you miss something, right? And the loan closes and they foreclose, or the loan gets audited, right? Randomly audited. That happens. So what happens when that goes down? This is where kind of the rubber meets the road for your guys' job and why this has to happen, correct?
Yes. So human error is going to happen in life.
Unavoidable.
We just got to face it.
Yep.
Mistakes happen, errors are going to happen. It's not always detrimental by any means. If it happens during the loan process, if we've missed something and it's a last minute thing, we're going to work with the branches, with the agents, with the borrowers to try to get that resolved as quickly as possible, and not put it on the back burner. If it happens post-closing, if we have one of our investors come back and say, we missed something, we're going to be in contact with the branch to get in contact with the borrower to collect that documentation to satisfy our investors' needs, which are always according to the guidelines. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And sometimes it's even a matter of interpretation. Everybody interprets things differently. Right. So again, we do try to get those resolved as quickly as possible so that we can get that loan with the investor satisfied, cleared, so everybody is moving on their way.
So I think, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say what I'm probably trying to get to, the point of it with your guys' job is, if for whatever reason a loan, the borrower can't pay, right, anymore, they get worst case scenario for a lender, right, they get foreclosed on. Ultimately that can come back. Explain to people out there how it can come back on the underwriter, and then also how it can come back on VanDyk Mortgage or whoever the mortgage lender is out there.
So for the underwriter individually, when we get into more of the government programs where we have those certifications, those kinds of errors can really impact that certification. And that is at times why you may think us underwriters are a little crazy in what we're asking for from the get-go. It really is to avoid those post-closing problems and to, protect our certifications that we have within those programs. So from an underwriting standpoint, we're covering that certification to ensure that we're maintaining that for not only ourselves, but for the company as a whole. And those post-closing issues can get very costly as a company. We risk losing our VA LAP approval. HUD audits are never fun to go through. We just went through one. And, so we're really just trying to avoid those kinds of issues.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just want to make sure that was conveyed, because sometimes I feel it's hard for us to convey back to the borrowers, back to the realtors, hey, this is why it goes through this whole process. We got to make sure the loan's protected. So what do you think for you, what is the, good job explaining that, by the way, what is the hardest part of your job?
The hardest part, I think, is having to say no. We are emotional beings. And so, in some situations where we have to say no, there's that single mom with 4 kids on the other end.
Yeah.
That's devastating. I'm a mom myself. Thankfully, I have a partner who helps, but it's hard not to put yourself in those kinds of situations when you're having to say no. I will say that I'm thankful to work with a group of people who are very open-minded. We try not to say no often. And sometimes it's just a matter of, no, now's not the right time. Give this borrower another 6 months, give this borrower another year, have them come back. Let's look at it again. So it's definitely the no's that's the hardest part, having to be that bearer of bad news, or having to call and say, we thought everything was good on this loan. Now we have a problem. I know I've had to make those calls to you before.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you hate that so much, then just don't do it anymore.
I promise we try.
Just say yes to everything we send in. No, I'm just kidding. And you guys really do. And I'm sure other companies, do the same thing as well, but because I'm not trying to make this, VanDyk, but that you guys really go above and beyond trying to keep deals together if they go sideways. Because if you're a buyer watching this, or a realtor even, if people don't realize like how many moving parts there are in a loan when you get, just from our side of just underwriting, then you get into their employer, the buyer, seller, appraiser, home inspector, title, insurance, and like, oh my God, all these moving things. And they all got to line up perfectly and get to the end at closing. And so it's a lot of work, effort, teamwork to get that thing to closing. So
absolutely.
And you guys do an unreal job at that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So advice time. All right. You're an underwriter.
All right.
I would like to know what advice, this is my underwriting manager, Lindsey Kuhnle. What advice would you give to a realtor to allow them to have a smooth transaction, or a better chance for a smooth transaction?
I think the biggest thing is setting the right expectations and communicating. Through this role especially, I've really realized how important communication is in this whole process from start to finish, because all of those people are involved, as you just mentioned. One person is relying on the next person. It's just setting those expectations, communicating between your borrowers, your loan officers, and just setting those expectations so that they can be met realistically. And if they can't, communicating that, we're going to have a little delay here, or, we've got this hiccup, but we'll be fine. Those kinds of communication pieces.
Mm-hmm. And have all of your buyers pre-approved by Tim Hart at VanDyk Mortgage.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I knew you were going to say that.
We are a company who does TBD approvals. So, if you've got those borrowers out there who you're just not sure, send them in. They'll be to an underwriter within 24 hours of submission, whether it has a property or not.
Shout out. I like the plug. Hey, so let's do the same thing for borrowers. So what advice as an underwriting manager would you give to a borrower to ensure they have a smooth and timely closing?
Being flexible. We would love to say that everything is going to go so smoothly from start to finish. I'm actually in the process of being a borrower right now, and I have a little hiccup with my appraisal. So, I'm just trying to be flexible. My lease is up in a month. We've got the fly-in coming up, you know, and so there is life happening in these borrowers' lives, and just trying to remember that everything happens for a reason, you know, and maybe that last minute condition does come up, you know, rather than react negatively, how can we react positively to get that documentation back to your LO in front of the underwriter so that we can get your loan clear to close?
Yeah. You have the most positive spin ever at the end there. You know, like if I could add something to the borrowers out there, if you're watching this, the best thing you can do once you're especially if you're under contract, anytime anyone needs anything from you in regards to the transaction, do everything you possibly can to send it to them ASAP. You may have already sent it to someone else, or you think you sent it, or why do you need this or that? Man, just get it to them and let them keep plugging away with your loan.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Lindsey, you got anything else you want to add? That was awesome.
Well, I don't think so. I just would like to thank you for inviting me today to be a part of this.
Yeah, fun. I appreciate you. Maybe we'll have you back again. We'll dive into a few other things sometime in the future when you got more time, you know?
All right. Sounds good.
All right, cool. You guys, that's been Lindsey Kuhnle, our underwriting manager at VanDyk Mortgage. Lindsey, we appreciate you. You guys out there, if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, I don't care where you are watching it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, please. I really would appreciate it. If you need help, questions, concerns on mortgages, or you just want to talk to your boy Tim, give me a call, 239-437-4278. So guys, thanks again for watching. Take care. Have fun. See you. Thanks, Lindsey.
Bye.